This is the new Volkswagen T-Roc, and I've come to Volkswagen's plant where they build the thing in Portugal, so there might be a bit of noise going on in the background. Anyway, apparently this car is bigger, cooler and posher than before, and in this video I'm going to talk you around the exterior. Twin tailpipes will look cool on this. I'm going to show you the interior. Look, there's little swimmers. I'm going to compare it to the previous generation car, and I'm going to show you a different trim level to the one I've got here. I'm also going to try out some of its new technology. I can't believe it's going to get through here. This is just nonsense. Take it for a drive. It is just wonderful. See how practical it is. Maybe I need to fill it with litres of water. Tell you what's good about it. There we go. Oh, I enjoyed that so much. What's not so good about it, you could say that's a little bit like overkill. And finally, I'll give it my overall rating. Anyway, I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching CarWow. I'm going to start this video with the key thing you need to know about this new Volkswagen T-Roc, and it's not what you can see. The biggest change is actually what you can't see, and that's because the old T-Roc was based on the Golf. The new one is actually based on the larger Tiguan, and that matters because, come and look at this, right? As you can see, these cars are part level, noses are in the same place. The centre of their front wheels is in the exact same place, but if we walk through the gap of the cars, come on Lewis, come on, there we go, you'll notice that this centre wheel cap on the new car is further back than the one on the old car by 3 centimetres. It has a 3 centimetres longer wheelbase, and that's important. We'll get onto that in a bit when I check out the practicality. But also, if you look at the rear end of it, you'll notice that it's significantly longer. So overall, this car is 12 centimetres longer than the old one, and that means you get more boot space, and we'll come to that as well later. But that isn't the only key thing about this new version. One of the other great things about being based on the Tiguan platform is that you have all of its driving aid technology. So as well as your adaptive cruise control with lane keeping assist, it can actually change lanes for you if you use the indicator. It also has a function where you can move the car in and out of a parking space using an app on your mobile phone. Now, we've seen that on other cars before. What I haven't seen on another car before though is an ability to record a parking maneuver. Get out the car, then get it to do that maneuver, so you don't have to keep on doing the same thing over and over again if you've got an awkward parking space. So often when I'm filming, we'll film the front of a car, then Lewis will ask me to get into the car to then turn it around so he can film the back of it. I can't be bothered doing this over and over again, so I could just program the car. And we've got Simon from Volkswagen who's done that. He's going to hop out the car now and he's going to run the routine using his phone from outside the car, and it should turn around. So as you can see, look, there is no one inside the car. Go for it, Simon. So I actually recorded this maneuver earlier, so I know exactly what it wants to do. So it should just flip it around 180 degrees. There you go, Lewis, you can now film the back end. I didn't have to do anything besides just stand here. Now you might be thinking, do you know what, it's going to be quicker to do that yourself. Maybe, but there are times when you just don't want to drive a car through certain situations. For this next challenge, I thought I'd take a back seat to the car, do the work. I really hate reversing, so it's good if you can make the car do it for you. Just imagine you're coming home from a long day at work. The last thing you want to do is faff around trying to back your car into an awkward parking space. But using this system, you only have to do it once. The car simply remembers your route and copies it exactly. Just going around a pillar. No one likes reversing around pillars. Done. Now I'm going to give it a really hard challenge. There we go. I'll be amazed if it gets through here. I can't believe it's going to get through here. This is just nonsense. Like, the parking sensors are going crazy. Is it going to stop? It must stop. It's not going to do this. No, it's lost its mind. No, okay. So I think this is a little bit too tight, and it's not going to do this, is it? Simon went away and found out the reason why the car wouldn't go through that gap, and it's because it needs 20 centimetres of clearance either side of its wing mirrors, otherwise it won't drive through on its own.
Computer says no.
Who knew? Also, who knew about this? The T-Roc designers wanted to have a bit of fun with this car, and they put a couple of Easter eggs throughout it. Here's one of them. Now the idea is that many owners probably won't even see them, but occasionally they will, and they'll be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Look, how many people are going to spot this? Look, just up in there, there's a little sketch of the T-Roc concept car. There's a couple of others elsewhere in the cabin, and I'll show you them later. Obviously, as with all new cars, this new T-Roc is more expensive than the outgoing model by about £2,000. It'll start from £30,000, so this one I have here is probably going to be towards £40,000 with all the kit on it. Now, if you want to see how much money you can save on the old T-Roc, we've still got some offers on them through carwow and some excellent lease deals. To check that out now, go to carwow lease by, find the link in the description of this video or in the pinned comment. You can click on the pop-out banner and scan the QR code on screen now. Now, at a later date, if you're watching this video, we'll update that link so it's to the latest offers on this brand new Tiguan, but there's none available because this is the official launch of the car and it won't go on sale yet in the UK for a few months. So what are the engine choices with the new T-Roc? Well, there's a lot to learn here. So we're going to start off with a 1.5 litre petrol turbo. So you can have your 2 horsepower options, 116 horsepower or 150, which is what this car is. There will be a 2 litre version which will have 204 horsepower, and that car will come with 4-wheel drive. Other cars are front-wheel drive. All models get a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic gearbox. In the distant future, there will be 2 hybrid versions, one with 140 horsepower and one with 204 horsepower, and they aren't plug-in hybrids, they're self-charging hybrids, you know, like the old Toyota Prius. Yeah, it's the first time that Volkswagen has ever done that before. And then eventually there will be an R version with a 2 litre turbocharged petrol engine with 333 horsepower, which should be a rocket ship. But how quick is this version, this 1.5 with 150 horsepower? Let's find out. This particular T-Roc should do 0 to 60 miles an hour in 8.9 seconds, but I'm going to time it for myself. Hold on the brake, lift off. Real slow takeaway. No launch control. Once it's going, it's all right though. 0 to 60 in 8.4 seconds. However, that was slightly downhill. Let's do another run up the hill and see what we get as an average. That was a better takeoff. Better not to hold on the brake, it goes quicker. So 9.1, 8.4, the average, come on Matt. It's 8.75. Anyway, it's better than what VW say. One of the main questions people will have about this car is the new T-Roc a good car to buy? Well, from a visual point of view, I think yes, it is. It definitely looks more youthful than its predecessor. This is the R-Line, and so it looks slightly more sporty than the mid-spec cars. Also, it's got the black package on it, so various bits of trim are in black, whereas normally they'd be in like a silver colour. You've got this full-length light bar, which you get as standard on top-spec cars, and an illuminated badge as well. You can get that optional on lower-spec cars. You also get the Matrix LED IQ lights as well as standard on the top spec cars. Once again, low spec cars optional. Do you know what? In this colour with the black pack and the R-Line trim, sort of looks like a baby Lamborghini Urus, doesn't it? Can you see that? It's good, isn't it? Moving down the side, big news here is the biggest alloy wheel size you can now get on the T-Roc is 20 inches, and this has them, and they come in black because this has the black package. Entry-level cars, 16-inch wheels, so quite a difference in size there. Normally on the R-Line, this would be like a chrome colour, but once again, black package means it's black. But one thing to really notice about this car is that the body crease is a bit more subtle, and in areas it's more rounded than the previous car, once again making it look a bit more modern, but you still have that traditional T-Roc kind of crease over the rear haunches. One key thing to note is this: the roof has these slats in them, so that improves airflow over the top of the car, reduces drag for improved efficiency, but also gives you less noise. Same with the roof bars, which have been recessed more, so they don't create quite so much wind whistle when you're driving along, which is a good thing. Moving towards the back, so you've got a full-length light bar here. Once again, on the high spec versions, you get an illuminated badge, T-Roc written there, and yes, look, the fake exhausts of the old car are gone. They've just got a fake diffuser instead. But that's much better. The real exhaust are just under here. Look, they're neatly tucked away. Do you know what? I'd actually like to see those. Twin tailpipes would look cool on this. Another question people are going to have about the T-Roc is which trim level shall I go for? And Volkswagen reckons this one, the Life, will be the biggest seller in the UK. It's the mid-spec model. You can see it's got that slightly different grille design, and it's got this satin effect down here. Makes it look a bit more off-roadery than the R-Line, which is more like street and sporty. These wheel sizes, these are 18s, and now they look quite small compared to the 20s on the R-Line. Now you've got the chrome bits over here, the satiny effects here, and towards the rear, slightly different at the back, but overall quite similar. Good looking car. Is an improvement on the old one. Do you know what? I still like the look of the old one. It does look a little bit more for an older person. Maybe that's why it appeals. Lewis, which do you prefer, the new or the old one?
New one.
Yeah, and how old are you, Lewis?
31.
There you go. I think overall, yes, I prefer the look of the new one, but this one does still appeal to me. To be honest, I've been calling this white T-Roc the old car, but you can still buy them directly from Volkswagen before this all-new yellow T-Roc arrives in showrooms in early 2026. Seeing as we've got the old car here, let's just remind ourselves of what the interior is like. You can see how new it is, still got the seat covers on. Anyway, there's your dash design. It's got a plonked-on infotainment system, which seems a little bit old-fashioned. The dash quality, though, is nice and squidgy, though. The materials on the door tops are kind of cheap and nasty. You've got a big old-fashioned gear knob there, and you've got separate climate controls. It's not done through the screen, so you just swipe those things there. Be better to have knobs, but still at least it's separate from the infotainment system. The seats generally comfortable, and a mixture of like cloth, suede and leatherette on this R-Line. Let's check out the new car. There's some definite big changes. It does feel more modern. Now, some changes are good, some changes are not so good. The first of which is the big infotainment screen. I prefer that. It's much better. It's high definition. It's more responsive, though it's still not the most responsive in the world. But downside is all the climate control is now controlled through this. So you have to hit this button here, and then you can control things more precisely. Yes, you do still have shortcuts for doing temperature here, but if you want to do seats and stuff like that, actually you can do seats by double pressing that. But if you want to do things like sync it, or you want to change the direction of the airflow, it all has to be done through the screen now, as does the fan speed, which is annoying. You have obviously got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and look, it's full widescreen Android Auto, which is really nice and handy. You've got digital driver's display, and you can change the views, and it's quite configurable as well. Plus, you've got a heads-up display on this car. First for Volkswagen is this. On the dash, we have fabric. Never before in any Volkswagen vehicle. And here we are, finally. They've followed some other manufacturers. Generally, the quality feels good. And here, door tops, yes, soft touch materials, so it feels a bit more premium in here than the previous car. There's been a massive change here on the door handles. Rather than the door handle release being up here, it's here. And if you think about it, that's just more natural. And then you just pull that and open it with your elbow. What's not so good though is this handle, which you then hold on to shut it, does feel a bit cheap and plasticky. Now, we have ambient lighting here in the doors, and if you look down here, there's this new button here which you can use to change the volume of the stereo, press it in to change the different drive mode, and then swipe it to change to these different atmospheres. So what you can do is then link various ambient lighting settings to these atmospheres, and also various playlists on your Spotify to these atmospheres, so it'll change the kind of music it plays when you're in different atmosphere. Do we need that? I don't know. Let's put it on inactive. That's my favourite setting. Other things you need to know. So here on the steering wheel, unlike with things like the Golf, we have still physical buttons on the steering wheel, not kind of touch sensitive buttons. Another big thing is this. We've got the gear selector here on the steering column, which is the best place for it. It means you don't have a big knob here, which means you have more space here for other stuff, practical stuff. So here you have your wireless charging for your mobile phone, and it's cooled as well, and the channels for the cooling air are called lanes internally at VW, and they thought it'd be fun to make them swimming lanes. Look, there's little swimmers just there in each of these swimming lanes. Now there's another Easter egg somewhere. I'm not going to tell you where it is. You might spot it in our shots, you might not, but if you get a Volkswagen T-Roc, see if you can find it. What we also have is the USB-Cs there. On the old car, they're kind of like stuck on like an afterthought. Down here we've got some storage space, more space than on the previous car, and it's configurable. Look, so you've got these little dividers, so you can just set it up just as you want it, and it's very, very deep. There's also some like storage underneath the armrest, and you can extend the armrest as well if you want to. In fact, there's plenty of adjustment in the steering wheel, as you can see, and in the seat height. Oh, I've just noticed we've got some lovely aluminium pedals, which creates a premium feel. Though you don't get those on the lesser model, so the Life doesn't have that. It doesn't have the sporty R-Line steering wheel either. I tell you what doesn't create a premium feel though. No fabric lining the door pockets. Actually, it is in the bottom to stop things rattling around, but in the Golf you have it lining the actual sides as well. This is a more expensive car, surely it should have it. Anyway, still a big door bin. Look, you can fit loads of bottles and stuff like that in there. Plenty of space. You've also got a decent sized glove box, and it's nicely damped, as you'd expect from a Volkswagen. And the R-Line seats, very similar to in the old car. You know, you've got a mixture of suede, cloth and leatherette again. They also have ISOFIX anchor points on them, which is really handy. You can have 3 child seats in here if you're lucky, or maybe unlucky enough to have 3 children. I'm not sure what's the right thing to say. I'll tell you what is the right thing to say though. Here in the back should be easy to fit a baby seat because the ISOFIX anchor points are easy to get to, and because this car has 3 more centimetres in the wheelbase, there's more room in the back, so more space for a bulky rear facing seat. And I can feel the benefit here. Knee room's really good, lots of foot space as well. You can really stretch out actually in this car. Well, I can at least. I'm 179 centimetres tall. Headroom, yeah, it's pretty decent as well. But let's just quickly compare it to the old car. Knee room, yeah, slightly less. Headroom, slightly more. I'll tell you what we need to do now though, is check out what it's like with 3 people in the back. So there is a bit of a hump in this floor, which I'm gonna need to straddle if I take the middle seat. Lewis, if you just jump in now, mate. And we're gonna be joined by Andy, who is responsible for PR of the T-Roc. Okay, so Andy, how tall are you?
1.87 meters.
Okay, so I'm gonna do something a bit weird to you now, mate, right? Right, because I don't trust you. Your head's a little bit touching there, isn't it? What's it like with 3 in the back? In fact, I'm not going to listen to you because you're just going to say good things about the car because you're paid to. It's quite tight, isn't it, Lewis? It's quite tight. How's your head? You know,
it's okay.
It's okay. Andy's it's a little bit tight for Andy.
But it's fine.
But it's fine because he works for Volkswagen, and even if like he was like, it's absolutely brilliant. Definitely buy this over the competitor. Anyway, thanks, Andy.
Thank you.
But you got, look, you kind of got enough knee room, and you're quite long of leg. Look at that. So that's good. Yeah, go on. He's not going to get the sack today. That's good. We've got some storage pockets there. We've got door bins, which also have that little bit of felt in the bottom. Here in the back though, scratchy plastics though, you know, that was the same in the Tiguan, and that's a more expensive vehicle. One thing I do like though is, look, rear windows all the way down. We like that. Also like this feature. So yeah, armrest, cup holders. Yeah, it's not that. We have through loading. Yeah. You don't get that on many of this car's competitors. That is good. So you've got 2 USB-Cs down there, and because this is the R line, so like top of the range, you get climate control here in the rear as well. Lovely. How practical is the new Volkswagen T-Roc? Well, the old car had a boot capacity of 445 litres. This one is 475 litres. Wow, look at that. Let's have a look, just to check. No, I can't tell any difference in my eyes. Maybe I need to fill it with litres of water to be sure. There should be 30 left over. Now, as with the old car, you have an adjustable boot floor, so you can raise it up like that. If you want to get rid of the load lip, then it's just easier to slide things in and out. Also, you can remove the parcel shelf and just prop that up there on those retainers. And as long as you're patient, that parcel shelf will go under there, which is good. You've also got some tie down points there and there. There's a 12-volt socket, some more tether points there, and some storage areas here at the side as well. Fold down the rear seats. One of the things I really like is that they keep the seat belts separate so they never snag. 3-way folding. There we go, and quite a continuous flat low floor to slide things in and out, which is really good. But what if you want to carry really long items? Well, I need to show you on the other car because you can't do it with the R line and its sporty seats. Here in the Life model, you can fold down the front passenger seat flat. Cool. I'll tell you what's not quite so cool though. The old T-Roc ranked 17th out of a total of 50 cars for reliability in the latest driver power owner satisfaction survey. Not terrible, but not brilliant either. How will the new one do? I don't know, time will tell. Though that brings me on to some of the things that annoy me a little bit about the new car. I love the location of the boot release on the old car, though it's the badge, you just flip it like that. Also, if I can just stop it, in there is the reversing camera. It pops out of there, so it's always clean because it's covered up when you're driving around. On the new one, the reversing camera is quite low down there. It does have a little spray to clean it off if it gets dirty, but it will get a bit dirty because it's always exposed. And the release for the boot is here. This one doesn't have the electric tailgate. Shame. Now I want to show you one little area I found where they've saved some money on this new T-Roc compared to the old one. So you see this cord which holds up the parcel shelf. Right, see that? Now when you shut the boot, that will rest like that. So it'll be kind of in view, ever so slightly, a bit floppy like that. This is how they did it on the old car. So the cable on the old car can slide through the parcel shelf. Why do that? Okay, so if I attach it like that, and then when you shut the boot slightly, let's see if I can do it, can you see that that weight then pulls the cord taut, so it never looks floppy? I mean, that is a crazy attention to detail. What's more, the weight is made of rubber and has these fins so that when it moves about in the car, it doesn't make any noise when it hits the interior trim. You could say that's a little bit like overkill, but I really love that kind of feature. And what's even more disappointing is that entry-level versions of the new T-Roc will cost more than the outgoing model, despite these cost-saving measures. You might be thinking that £30,000 is quite a lot of money for a car this size. Well, you can get something bigger if you're willing to go used. Now, I found these Touaregs on CarWow for a similar price as this car if you're willing to have something with a few more miles and a bit older. Now, whenever you're buying a used car, you need to check the car's history. I checked the history of those cars on CarWow and they came back completely clean with a car vertical history check. However, that's not always the case. Here's a car vertical history check of another Volkswagen Touareg that wasn't on CarWow, I hasten to add, that has had its mileage rolled back by 50,000 miles. So if you're thinking about buying a used car, you need to do a car vertical history check to make sure it's not been stolen, it doesn't have outstanding finance, it hasn't had its mileage rolled back like that Touareg, or it hasn't been crashed and reported as damaged. Now, to do that, follow the link in the description of this video or the pinned comment, or scan the QR code on screen now, or click on the pop-out banner. And don't forget to use the code CARWOW for 20% off. Volkswagen has made some big improvements to the T-Roc chassis. So unlike the old car, which had a simple twist beam rear suspension setup, this has independent rear suspension on every single model. Also, the dampers and springs have been specifically tuned to this new car to give it a more sophisticated drive than before. What's more, the front suspension arms are taken from the Passat and the track is wider than before to give it a little bit more front end grip. Anyway, let's see how all that translates out on the road. Well, first thing to note, visibility is generally pretty good. You sit reasonably high and you can jack the chair quite a way up as well. You can judge where the corners of the car are. You've got a decent rear view mirror, a largest back window, big door mirrors, that's all good. The steering is light, which is good when you're manoeuvring. The only thing is that sometimes the automatic gearbox and engine combo can be a little bit delayed when you put your foot down. It does have a mild hybrid system, so a small electric motor gives it a little bit of an oomph to make sure it's not too hesitant, but it's not as quick off the mark as if you had, say, a pure electric car or a plug-in hybrid. And that's always been the problem with this 1.5 mated to the automatic gearbox, but it's livable. I tell you what's really livable though is the suspension. So this has the adaptive dampers in it. I've got them in the softest setting, and over bumps it is just wonderful. Makes it feel like a much bigger car than it actually is. I mean, that's one of the benefits of this being built on the same platform as the larger Tiguan. However, I'm just going to try it in like the stiffest setting and go into individual, change that, individual, change, go into the stiffest setting, stiffest. Let's see what that's like now. There's a manhole cover. If that's a sportier setting, then sporty is still pretty laid back. It'd be interesting to try that on a twisty road. I'm finding some bumps now and it's absolutely great. Let's go back into the softest setting. No, there we go. Yeah, you can notice the difference. So it's comfortable or absolutely superbly comfortable. You decide. Oh, this is so good over there. You hardly notice it's there, you just hear a little bit of a rumble. Let's just try the manoeuvrability. I'm going to do a U-turn. This looks like a very bad place to do it, which is perfect. No, let's just do it up here a bit. Oh, I'm sorry, someone behind me is getting very cross. Like, what is this moron doing? So I'm going to try and do it here. This could cause major chaos, but I'm just going to do it, and hopefully this person won't drive into the side of me. Though they might do. They look like the type that might. If I can make this round, this is going to be amazing. Don't go up the curb, don't go up the curb, don't go up the curb. That is manoeuvrable. This car's brilliant in town. They weren't beeping at me. Honestly, they weren't. But while the car is clearly agile enough to avoid any bumps and scrapes in town, I couldn't say the same about my own body. Ow! That really hurt. Oh. All in the name of testing cars. What I'm trying to do is jump into the blue car, which I've actually been following, it's been filming me. That doesn't have the adaptive chassis control, so no adaptive dampers. I want to see what it's like when driving. Do you need the active chassis control? Anyway, let's go give it a test. Here we go. Okay, I can tell straight away it's not as cushioning. Here's another one here. Oh, no, and this bit of pavé. Yeah, it's not as cushioning, but it's still, you know, by most car standards, really quite good over bumps. So do you need the adaptive dampers? No. If you're buying a factory order yourself, right, I would probably tick the adaptive dampers and pay the money. I probably would. But if I found a great lease deal, or I had a car in stock that didn't have the adaptive dampers, I would go ahead and buy it without worrying about it. Speaking of which, if you want to check out the latest lease deals, we've got some crackers on carwow leasing right now. You can do that by following the link in the description of this video, or click on the pop-out banner or scan the QR code on screen now. But how does this new T-Roc feel on faster roads and motorways? Well, I jumped back into the R-Line model to find out, but almost immediately there was a problem. Now I'm out on a bridge, there's a storm coming in, it's quite windy and there's not much wind noise at all. I'm cruising at around 60 miles an hour. It's impressive. Let's get the cruise control on. There we go, auto cruise. Hardly any tyre roar at all, very relaxing car. And the auto cruise is coping with the sudden sideways gusts of wind. Believe me, it is blowing a gale and it's staying, it's staying in lane. And you know what, when you're going faster, this 1.5 litre engine has got enough performance to keep up with traffic and overtake when you need to. Apparently this thing can do like lane changes for you. Don't know how you do it. It's quite clear I don't know how that works. I'm going to find out and tell you. It's actually pretty simple. First, I need to activate assisted lane change in the driver's assistance menu. Then, with adaptive cruise control engaged, I just indicate and the car checks for traffic before automatically moving into the next lane. What I am going to do though is see what kind of economy you can get on a cruise. Okay, reset the trip. Volkswagen claims this new 1.5 litre engine in the T-Roc will return between 47 and 51 miles per gallon. And on a relatively fast cruise like this, it should have no trouble getting close to that figure. But what's the reality? Right, the best economy I've got just on a cruise, 6.5 litres per 100 kilometres. That's around 80 to 90 kilometres an hour driving. I don't think it's going to get any better than that. And this is what that is in miles per gallon. That's slightly less than Volkswagen claims, which is a bit disappointing because I was expecting this car's new mild hybrid system to make it a bit more economical than that. And I might be a little underwhelmed by the T-Roc's performance in my next test too, although this time it has nothing to do with Volkswagen's engineering and more to do with the weather. It's just started to rain a bit, but I need to do a brake test on this car to see how well it stops from 60 miles an hour. Normally, a car should do around 35 metres. 36 is okay, 34 is good. We can see how we go, but the conditions aren't quite ideal right now. That's really greasy. 40 metres. Just goes to show, take care when it's just starting to rain, all right? I need to test the handling of this car, but really these roads, they're not particularly challenging. Here's a bend coming up here. I'm going to whack it into sports mode, so that's stiffened up the suspension. Yep, yep, oh yeah, stays flat in the bends. It's all very VW-like, so competent, capable, good balance between handling and comfort. You know, it does all that you need a car like this to do. Perfectly balanced, perfectly fine. Not loads of fun, but more than capable. Ooh. I think when you put your foot down, the engine does go a bit, and gear shifts are pretty smart too once you're moving along. It's only at lower speeds when it can be a bit slow to pull away. However, if you want a car in this category that's a little bit more fun to drive, then click on the pop-out banner up there, scan the QR code on screen, or follow the link in the description of this video for an alternative that I've picked that is a little bit more sporty feeling. So then, what's my final verdict on the new Volkswagen T-Roc? Should you avoid it, consider it, shortlist it, or just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the T-Roc. It really is a good, practical family car that looks cool and is nice to drive.
First sight, I never believed. When I saw you for the first time, I changed my mind. Your eyes and your smile are a fantasy. I need